Morning all, Mike Bowman from Nuvem9 here. I'll just say I want to take you through KPIs and metrics for 5 minutes or so. So KPIs, metrics, are usually a mixture of financial and business information. They're there to show how your business changes, how you can grow it and improve it, and are often used to benchmark your business against industry norms. And finally, I think important to have confidence in your business, both you internally and externally. So as James said, when you're putting in application forms for loans or anything else, to have some metrics to show how your business is doing or should enhance your case to get the loans once they become competitive again and you have to prove to the banks that you're worthy of taking them out. So typical metrics, KPIs, I've grouped them into 2 groups, but you could have a lot more. There's things to do with the customer. So if you're an e-commerce business, average lifetime value of a customer, things like that are important. Other ones are the average sales price, the churn, how you lose customers and have to replace them, any buying patterns. And then for the business, probably will depend on the type of business you've got. But if you've got a consultancy, you'll be interested in the utilization revenue of each employee. If you've got an e-commerce company, you'll be very interested in things like customer returns, which will affect your business enormously. So really, metrics very much depend on what type of business that you have. So I thought I'd just put together something to show how it's all constructed. So this is rather like Martin's slide. So you'll have a budget and a forecast for your business. You'll be on a accounting system up in the cloud. And then you'll have a pile of information, non-financial data, it's called in Futrli, to actually monitor what's going on in your business other than financials. They're put into Futrli and out pops your budget versus forecast versus actuals, and a board of information which can include as many KPIs and metrics as you choose to put in there. So moving on, having a look at one of the companies that we look after and how they use the KPIs to help improve the business. So let's go down one. Why has it stopped? I'm back in control. Thank you very much. Sorry, sorry for that, guys. Not my day for technology. So as I was saying, we do KPIs for most of our customers in Nuvem9, and this is just one smallish customer, offers specialist veterinary services. He started as a sole trader in 2015. He passed the threshold in 2019, so it shows how fast he grew. We use Zero, Dex Receipt Bank, as it was an advisor to help him on his way, plus some of the specialist apps that he uses. And we've built him a 10-year exit and retirement plan. He wanted to know how much money he'd have to retire on. And then we wanted to help him put it in the right place, the pension plan and various things. So we built all that up for him, created about 20 odd graphs and charts to help him. And at the moment, rather than on the long-term cash, we started to look at the short-term cash for him because he reached the point where he was fully loaded. So the big question came, does he take somebody else on or does he try and maximize his time? He didn't like the thought of taking anybody on. So the idea is to maximize the time that he spends out doing treatments. And we've done some analysis of his customers. The interesting one is that each year he has about 400 active customers out of a customer base of 1,200, a third. He loses very few, 2%. He does about over 100 treatment sessions a month. And what we've been focusing on is the average sales price, which you can see on the right-hand side, that he makes for every time he goes out and does a treatment. And the idea is to get that increasing. We took the rather drastic decision to put the price up at the same time as he had to start charging VAT at the end of last year. We didn't lose many customers. And you can see each month we're managing to get a little bit more money by charging for things like emergency call-outs, increasing the call-out charge and various things like that. So we've edged it up bit by bit. Unfortunately, for the first week in March, he's gone down a bit. So that's early indication of having to have a look at what's going on and make some changes if necessary. So that's using metrics on a week-by-week basis to help analyse what's going on in the business. Another one that we've had a look at is customer acquisition. It costs about 60 quid to actually acquire a customer, because often to acquire customers, he has to give away a free treatment to persuade them to come on board. So we're trying to cut those down and cut down that cost of acquisition. And as you can see, we're getting about 20 odd new customers a month, which is great. But what we don't want to do is have him travel too far to get those customers. So we measure the miles he travels to get to each session. And you can see that's roughly consistent at sort of 25 odd. So that's where we use these metrics on a regular monthly basis to say what's going on and tune our behaviour. And just looking at the business performance, well, he's doing all right. Cash is the main thing. Cash looks good. It's going up every month, and the average payment days are roughly consistent, around about 12. So good cash performance, which is really the only metric you're interested in at the end of the day, is how your business is doing with cash. And then some final thoughts. If you're interested in metrics, then keep as much data as you can, because you never know when you want it. Focus on the key areas, which might change over time. And businesses have different metrics, different types of businesses have different metrics. And it's really up to you as to what's important to you to keep those metrics and then make use of them. So that's all. Thank you for listening. Sorry about the technical problem, and any questions?
Well, we've got nothing in the chat, Mike, but I don't know if you want to go into a bit of detail, or not detail, but maybe some key metrics that lots of people can use, because obviously there's lots of metrics and you can go a bit overboard with metrics. But things like debtors days and anything like that, if you've got any advice on some key metrics that for the majority of people.
I think it's a starting point would be analysing your customers. How many have you got? How many do you lose each month? What's their average sales value to those customers? So that's the start of your business, is the customer. So I would always start there in terms of metrics and analysing your business, and then move on to the business metrics once you understand how your customers behave.